I'm Nancy Norman with Weekly Wisdom. It is so good to be with you today. Today, we are beginning a new series based on a book called Working with God. It was written by an early metaphysician by the name of Gardner Hunting, and it is a Unity classic. It's no longer in print, so if you find a copy laying around someplace, be sure and pick it up because it is a treasure. Gardner Hunting wrote for Unity from the year 1925 until his death in 1958. He wrote countless articles for Unity, several books, and the book Working with God seems to have been the favorite of all times. As I say, it's a Unity classic, and it's a book that he is remembered for. His father was a Presbyterian minister. Gardner Hunting lived in many large U.S. cities. He traveled to Europe, Africa, and Mexico. He worked at Unity School for 14 months in the publishing department, and he edited the youth magazine. When he left Unity, he worked for General Motors and General Electric and other large corporations. He also, and I believe this was before he went into his Unity work, he also worked for Paramount and Eastern Studios, and is credited for quite a number of silent films. I was amused because one of the ones that he was credited with was a film called Little Miss Optimist. He was quite well known in the film as a film writer. So Working with God has been a favorite for many for a number of years. I know of one very successful inventor who credits his success and his prosperity, actually changed his life by reading Working with God. And I'm told that this inventor, every single night, from the moment that he found this book, he had it on his bedside table, and he would read a sentence, a page, something before going to bed at night. So Gardner Hunting is quite direct in how he writes, and he uses himself as an example. He starts off the book, the chapter is called The Comeback, and he said, why not have what you want? Have you settled down with the notion that you can't get it? Are you accepting a disappointment as something you must suffer? Do you look at the thing that you really desire as being far beyond your reach? Do you carry around with you a heartache because you think your heart's desire is finally and forever denied you? Do you look at yourself as being down and out with no chance to get back? Do you think you are too poor to buy the things you like or even the things that you need? Have you done something that you think has brought a penalty on you? Sickness, poverty, loss of freedom, grief? Well, Gardner Hunting says that you shouldn't give up. You don't have to give up because all is not hopeless. And he said, he was speaking, all is not hopeless, because he had been through all of that. He'd been through all of those feelings that I just stated, and he found that he could change his life. And you can change your life also. He found that he needed to understand some universal laws. And he found that if he understood them and applied them in his life, that everything worked out. And he said that many of the things that we want or desire are right now within our reach. And I believe that. I know that, as a matter of fact. So he said, we've all heard 1,000 times, you can't get something for nothing. You've heard it 1,000 times, and I've heard it 1,000 times. You can't get something for nothing. And his reasoning is amusing and also makes a whole lot of sense. He said, you can't get something for nothing. If it is a law that I cannot get something for nothing, then it must be true of this law, as it is with all genuine laws, that it works both ways. It must be true that I cannot give anything without getting something for it. Interesting. I cannot give anything without getting something for it. Now, we have heard about the law of sowing and reaping. The Bible talks a lot about how it talks a lot about farmers planting seeds and reaping the harvest. So what we plant, we harvest. What we plant, we reap. What we plant, we harvest. It's a law. As you give, you receive. And a law always works. That's a universal law. One that we really need to understand and apply in our lives. The law always works. A law always works. It works anywhere, anytime, at all times. And again, I'm going to read right from the book. Gardner Hunting says this. He says, if this law that I cannot get something for nothing, and that therefore I cannot give without receiving is law, then it works with the same continuity as all other laws. It makes no difference who I am, where I am, how much I weigh, what color my hair is, or what my character is. This law works for me just the same. It is commonly called the law of giving and receiving, and it can be stated this way. What I give out comes back to me multiplied, always. What I give out comes back to me multiplied, always, always. What you sow, you reap. What you give out is returned to you multiplied. Now, what he's saying in this chapter is that if you're not pleased with your life, if you're not happy with your life, well, plant a different seed. Hold a different thought. Speak a different word. Act in a different way. You can always change. You can always change your life. You can always change what you are. You can always change what you are reaping. And by changing, how do you do that? By changing the seed that you're planting. Change your thought, change your word, or change your deed, and your life will change. The moment you obey the law, your life changes. So, the other thing that we need to remember is that as your life changes, and you change your thought and your ideas, any mistakes that you've made in the past, they can simply be canceled out if you're sincere and if you hold to that law of speaking words of gratitude, of greatness, of kindness, of love. So this week, I want you to be aware of the seeds that you are planting. Give up being a victim. Give up the old stories of woe is me, my life is awful. Just give that up. It doesn't work. Because what you put out comes back to you. Do you want more misery? Do you want more my life is awful? I don't think you do. I do not think you do. Make a genuine effort to plant seeds of happiness, of love, of success, of prosperity. Remember, if you can't get something for nothing, then the law must be true that you cannot give anything without getting something. What you give returns to you multiplied, always. God bless you. Have a wonderful week.